came from somewhere else. Whether it was in the last 10 years, 30, 40 years, 500 years. I was born and raised in Minnesota, the home of great Democrats like Hubert Humphrey, Fritz Mondale, and Paul Wellstone. It is a fine and long tradition of progressive politics, and the people that I grew up listening to and working for did not care for the special interests and the power brokers. They stood firmly on the side of working people. They listened to their cares and gave voice to their hopes. Here in my chosen state, the voices are the same. Look at the corners. Sullivan, Freedom Folk, McGee. These are the same folks in our state who went around and stood up for the people. They listened to people on their front porch and sat down at the kitchen table. They've never forgotten the hopes and dreams of the people of Wyoming, whether it was in Cheyenne or in Washington. The hope that people should be able to live in either a big city or a small rural community and have clean water, electricity, and safe streets. The hope that future generations could succeed based on who they are and not where they came from or what their background is. The hope that when the chips were down and no one else cared, that the government of the people, by the people, and for the people would somehow find a way to care for them. It is those hopes that carried a young senator recently to the office of President of the United States. We saw that wonderful video from the DNC. And while the pundits may not like that idea, they may seem like everything's just going bad. I think they had to scramble pretty hard to find somebody on TV who actually thinks things are going okay. It was amazing. One of you guys was from Fox News. Wow. Let's remind ourselves of 3 or 4 big things that have happened in the last year. It took 8 years to get into the mess. It's going to take a lot longer than 18 months to get us out. The Lilly Ledbetter Act. Collapse with the stimulus program. Which has a lot of meaning to those of us in Wyoming, that is working to protect those who are still ostracized in our society. Imagine if you were for 1 second what would happen. Can you imagine, let's say in our worst nightmare, the Republicans take control of the House, and they want to repeal health care. That's going to be a fun thing for them to try and sell. Hi, we know you got some health care a couple of years ago, but we're going to take it back from you. I don't think that's going to work for them. And as Republicans may want to, they're panicked and nervous, and so are their friends on Wall Street. But in the next couple of months, we're going to see some real Wall Street reform so that never again can our hard-earned money be taken out of our pockets, put in the back of someone else so they can have their corporate jets and fly out to do what they want to do. That's what this president's done. Another important thing this president's done. For 8 years, I woke up in the Bush administration going, oh my God, what bad thing happened today, and what was George Bush's response? As Chris Matthews says, Barack Obama, or as my son calls him, Barack Obama, is as cool as the underside of a pillow. And I turn on that TV in the morning and go, no matter what happens, my president is cool, calm, and collected. Some months ago, we mentioned a little while ago the voices in Wyoming that have been still, through the passage of time, good Democrats. We lost a very major Democrat in the United States Senate last summer, Ted Kennedy. And I often wonder what would have happened if Ted had been around to shepherd that health care bill through the last stage. I think it would have turned out a lot differently, a lot more Republican support. I got a feeling that Orrin Hatch would not have been quite so vocal, because Teddy would have called him down to the office and said, sit in my chair, let's talk a little while. Ted Kennedy believed very strongly in progressive causes, but he also believed even more strongly in getting things done. One of his maxims was, do not let the perfect become the enemy of the good. We're Democrats, we discuss, we argue, we scream, we yell, but we're going to go forward from this hall, united, focused, and believing that we will not let the perfect become the enemy of the good. Your legislators, your other county and state party officials, that's how they're working. They have to do things here and there. I watched a couple years ago, we talked about this at the Stonewall meeting last night. I saw Mary Throne and Lori Millen work across the aisle in the House to get 15 Republicans to kill that Domo bill on the floor of the Wyoming House. That's leadership. That's not letting the perfect become the enemy of the good. That's what we need more of. So if you're thinking about running for the Wyoming House or the Wyoming Senate, this is the weekend to sign up. So let me conclude by saying there are 2 maxims I want you all to remember. You all remember Mother Jones, the labor leader? You know what her maxim was? Pray for the dead, but work like hell for the living. Pray for the dead, but work like hell for the living. And Al Gore Sr., like the Vice President's late father, used to say, early to bed, early to rise, work like hell and organize. So long after the band stopped playing, as Senator Kennedy said, and the crowd stopped cheering, we as Democrats need to show, at the end of the day, that we are the best equipped to govern. Our ability to govern starts with great candidates and new ideas. It starts with a great pair of walking shoes and a listening ear. It starts remembering why we are the party of the people. It starts with you, and it starts today.
Yeah.